My boy.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
We live?
We live, bro.
Yes, sir.
Welcome. We get right into it.
Of course, bro. Love it.
What's up, bro?
Amazing.
Good to see you.
Good to see you
Before
too.
we get to you, bro,
Yes, sir.
welcome back. This is the Rags to Richness podcast, episode number 6. In the last episode, I didn't know what episode it was. This episode, I made sure beforehand I knew what episode we were on. I'm your host, Nehemiah Wilson, and we're here to share Carson Butler's story.
Yes, sir.
Did I say that right, Butler?
Butler.
Awesome.
Scars.
Okay,
whatever.
I just wanted to make sure. I almost got the other interview person wrong last time, so.
It's all good.
Yeah, welcome, Carson.
Appreciate it.
Good to have you, bro.
Yes, sir. Good to
I'm
have
not
you.
going to introduce you anymore. What do you want to say to the people about who you are and what you do?
Who am I and what do I do? Hello everybody, my name's Carson, aka Scars. I'm a 19-year-old entrepreneur, content creator, and educator, if you want to say. I make motivational, inspirational, and educational content if you want to tap in with anything self-improvement related, whether it be bettering yourself, becoming more wise, becoming better at whatever you do, no matter what niche you're in, industry, if you want to just get better at that, I teach people how to become better at what they're good at. So.
That's fire.
Appreciate it.
So this is a little bit of background for how we know each other. Yeah. This is the second podcast in a row where we've had a Georgia Tech person on the podcast.
Yeah.
Then second time we've had a Georgia Tech dropout on the podcast.
Oh, that's crazy.
So
really?
last
I'm
time,
the second one.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you saw the last one. My friend Marincia, she dropped out to do YouTube, and then you dropped out to do your own entrepreneurship stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of cool. Like we have a theme running. But we met at school at Georgia Tech, and your first year, my last year.
Yeah.
So that was last year.
Yeah. Last year, yeah.
Yep.
That's crazy.
So, me and Carson just were chopping it up.
Yes, sir.
Because we were in the same community and lived around the same area. And we just followed each other on Instagram. And I don't know, out of nowhere, you just started like posting content like daily, bro. Like inspirational content, motivational stuff, and all of that. And I say this all the time about your content and what you do. You're so consistent, bro.
Yeah.
You are the most consistent person that I've seen out of all the people that, besides like the big corporations who are like have the resources to be consistent, as far as independent people, you're the only person that I really see being consistent like day in and day out.
Yeah.
You might miss a day here and there, but I don't see it. Like that's how often
that's
you're
a good
posting.
thing.
That's how often you're posting.
Yeah,
so
bro.
at least like what it looks like, you're putting the work in to make your dreams happen. So before we get there and like what it takes to like get there, tell us more about what it is that you do. You said you help people reach their goals through what they're good at.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Like break that down a little bit more.
Facts. So what I mean by that is when it comes to my niche, so to speak, I would categorize it as self-improvement, personal development. And one thing that I've heard is in order to personally develop, you have to personalize it to you. So what I mean by that is like if you, let's say this you're in real estate, you might have a problem with scaling your business because you lack the information on how to do that. So what I do is I provide people methods on how to get that information, whether it be reading, whether it be podcasts, audiobooks, ebooks, courses, things of that nature. So I will basically be, creating content about alternative ways of learning or alternative ways of, bettering yourself as well. Maybe it's, the simple fact that you can't focus as much as you want to. So you have to remove distractions. You have to become more productive. Certain things like that, I educate people a lot on that. Like just being able to be better at what they're already good at. So for me, I like kind of where I'm at, because I can appeal to a lot of people that, where instead of me being just categorized as this one thing, I can basically help people out no matter what they do because I know like how to basically, help people improve themselves.
Yeah. How did you get there? Were you always that friend who was giving advice? And like listening to people's stories and like helping them get to where they said they wanted to be? Or is it something that's been recent?
Yeah, so I would say honestly, hold up.
Yeah, let me silence my phone too.
Let me silence my phone. Yeah, it's a long podcast,
I forgot to
so
do
we're all
that.
good.
Yeah,
but
and you can, we're having a conversation, so it's less like about the camera. We can forget that's there.
Yeah.
That's just like, so we can make content.
I know it is, But you said, how did I get to where I'm at?
Yeah, like I just asked, like, were you always that person in school? Like, getting to know people, like helping them, giving them advice? Because there's always that advice person at school. So were you like that type of person? Or?
I wouldn't say I was like that type of person that was doing it just for everybody. But like for my friends that I really cared about, I was. So like I would have certain like impromptu, unplanned rants in like the lounge, and like I would just have like rants and stuff. Like I'd be like, bro, this is what you need to do, bro. You need to do this, that,
gotcha.
this, that, and it would be like mad motivational. Like people could see my energy, but then it would actually be making sense at the same time.
Gotcha.
So like it's funny that I'm thinking back on it, because I'm like, I really was the same way just without a camera. So I always used to say, like, imagine if I just had a camera and everything that I did was recorded. I could leave an impact. So that's what I decided to do.
That makes sense. So you were already impacting people without the camera.
I was.
It's not like,
and it really, I was saying, like, it was less of other people, but it was more myself. Cause I used to like everything that I do on camera, I was doing it back then, like a year ago. People just never knew. Cause
talk about some of that stuff, cause I've seen it on social media, but like I've seen you reading, like journaling, all that type of stuff. So like, what's some of that stuff you do? Bro,
I was going crazy. So I would say I really started to come into my own, like when I got to tech, transitioning into like an independent mode, like where I'm on my own, like, you know, so I have full control over what I do. So November of 2021 is when I started reading. I started to read like a book every single, like I used to like read a part of a book every single day. Started off with 15 minutes, then started reading consistently, where basically I was at a book a month. Started working out when I was at tech. So literally right when I got to tech, that's when I started like working out, hitting the gym heavy. I started journaling on my own like freshman year. I started to experiment with cold showers like around October 2021. Just a whole bunch of stuff like meditation on and off, but just ways to improve at just life for real. Like whether it be getting more focused, whether it be improving my physical health, my mental, emotional, spiritual health. Like I was just all about improving myself as a person. So that's when I really started to come into my own. But again, nobody knew because I was really private at the time. Like I kind of had like confidence issues, and not confidence issues, but I would say like issues with worrying about what other people would think. So it was kind of like a situation where I would keep a lot of stuff private. I would stay like in a bubble because I felt like protected at the time. But I had to think to myself, like, who am I? Like, I'm doing this for myself, but I could be helping so many other people and inspiring other people by just showing and documenting my journey. You know, one thing I've heard, like not one of my direct mentors, but one of my friends' mentors say, if you can't document the process, you can't compliment the process. So I decided to do that, and you know, I'm getting a lot of compliments. That's dope. So there's two things that I want to touch back on. The confidence stuff, which we'll get to, for sure, and the why behind the self-improvement. Because there's some people who like know that they should change, and there's some people who, there's like three categories of people. People who don't know they should change and don't do anything because they don't know. People who do know and don't do anything. And people who know and do something about it. So it sounds like you fit in that third category. So have you always been that way? Just like always been a self-improving person, like very introspective and trying to grow as a person? I would say, I wouldn't say always, but I would say like, I always, how do I say it? Like, for me, I feel like since I was like very, very young, I've always wanted to be the best version of myself. And whatever I was focused on at the time, I always wanted to be best at it. So I totally get that. Yeah, when it came to like school, like I wanted to be the best. Like I was extremely competitive, especially when I got to like, when I transitioned high schools, cause I went to two. So 11th grade, I was a transfer, and I got to more of like a like bougier side of town. Like I went to school in Buckhead. So when I went to Buckhead, like it really made me competitive because I was like, oh, like I gotta go hard. I gotta, you know, it was competitive for me, and I went crazy. Like got into like top 30, top 40 schools in the nation. So then when I kind of transitioned. Hold on, wait, pause. You said top 30 to 40? Like colleges? You applied to that many? No, like tier wise, like top 30. Oh, bro, I was like, this man applied to 30 to 40 colleges. I've never heard that before. I applied to like 7. I was like, you're different, bro. You're different. Crazy. Yeah, but nah, like that's what I did. Like, so when I had my mind focused on that, like I was getting so much better. And like I was doing a lot of stuff related to like quote unquote self-improvement back when I was going hard with school. So waking up early, like I've been big on that since 15. Just being able to realize, okay, like I'm more productive in the morning because I'm waking up instead of getting more tired. Like at night, I would just get sleepier and sleepier. Whereas it like, you know, waking up early, like at least I'm going downhill, so it may be hard, like right when I wake up, but like getting more weight because your body produces serotonin instead of melatonin. So I was like, all right. That makes a lot of sense. Exactly. So I was like, all right, like I need to start, waking up early. So then I started waking up early. I was like, all right, I'm not getting enough sleep. Let me start getting more sleep. How do I get more sleep? Maybe blue light glasses. Maybe I can remove myself from, my parents because they'd be loud. They'd be watching TV. And, you know what I'm saying? You know how it be. Yeah. So like, I really was like, every year, like I was applying the same tactics to school. And I just really started to transition it from school to like entrepreneurship and kind of like, side hustles, whatever terminology you want to apply to it. That's what I started to apply it to. So all I did was just shift my focus, but the tactics and methods stayed the same.
Okay, there's a lot of gems in there, bro.
Yeah,
you
bro.
were like, I knew this was gonna be a good,
for sure.
a good conversation. So it sounds like to me that you're saying that like you started to build habits. Habits, I guess, is the best word to describe.
Yes, I love habits.
Habits that you've built that. Hold on, I'm wait for that to stop.
Guess we just gotta go through, I guess.
No, I'm gonna wait.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, because I knew when I was editing and I hear that, I was like, oh my gosh, but that's on.
Yeah.
It sounds like to me that you've been building habits.
Yeah.
And those habits are transferable.
Very.
Like, it doesn't matter whether you're a computer scientist.
Nope.
Or an entrepreneur or, I don't know, working
Engineer.
at a retail job.
Yeah.
If you have those habits of like discipline is something that I heard, like waking up early,
Yeah, bro.
taking cold showers,
Yeah, bro.
reading books and starting small but like 15 minutes and building that up. A lot of those things are transferable to a lot of different disciplines.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that's why you're successful, is because you've built like the internal muscles that'll carry you through all these different things in life that you deal with.
Yeah.
That's really dope, bro. Is that something that like somebody taught to you, or were you just like, because you were so self-motivated to be the best at everything you do, is that something you just developed on your own?
So I would say, one thing that I have heard, one of my, I wouldn't say mentors, but somebody that I really look up to, somebody named Alex Hermosi, he said a lot of times external accountability will cause an internal habit. So accountability, it's like if you have your parents telling you, hey, brush your teeth, that eventually will become a habit because of the accountability on the outside.
Right.
It eventually becomes a habit on the inside. So that accountability was essentially just with school, and like initially just with school. Like they would tell me, hey, get good grades. So that's initially what I, kept my focus on and what I was so motivated to do well on, because I had that internal habit from external accountability. But I took that same self-motivation that initially was just my parental motivation being applied to me. I took that self-motivation as I started to get older, and I started to apply it to just other things that I found interesting. Like I got interested, like I was hooked when I found out, yo, I can literally make money from anywhere in the world and I don't have to work a job that everybody subscribes to. That interested me when I found out about it at 16. Now, I'm grateful I found out about it that young. And what I did was I was like, yo, like, I need to start doing this, I need to start doing that. So like, when I found all that interest, like when I started becoming interested in stuff that only I was, not my parents, not my cousins, not my friends, it was me. When I got that interest, I just took that same self-motivation I had on one side and just applied it. So what I would say to other people is like, if you have a certain skill, a lot of your skills might be transferable. So if you're an artist and you stay up all night, drawing your art, well, be the same way about, wanting to promote your art online. Like if you want to start an art business and sell that, like be the same way, just apply that same discipline. It's just a lot of skills you have are transferable, you just don't know it. So I didn't really even know it. Like I'm getting older and I know it now. I'm like, dang, I guess I was like disciplined at the time. Because I'm on my podcast like this. I didn't until somebody else would peep it, like somebody else would mention it. And then I was like, oh, I guess, like, cause I feel like a lot of times, like, unless you have like commentary on the outside, you don't know how valuable or invaluable you might be at something on the inside. So for me, it was like, all right, like I got my friends all around me. They're like, yo, bro, like you really like motivating. You really like a disciplined person. You really like a hustler. You really, I'm like, yeah, so like, cause I didn't know. Like I was just doing me.
Right.
A lot of people might be real good at school, but they don't know they so good in school until they get that report card and they got all A's and you see a person with B's and C's. So it's not until you kind of get out of your own bubble that you start to realize like, oh, like I might be better or worse than I thought I was.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it was. Like I used to be, like I feel like one thing that I've kind of noticed of just like talking is like I literally was in a bubble and then I came out my bubble, and then I would go into another bubble and then come out of it just because of like how my friends would react to certain stuff. So like I started to figure out how disciplined I was. I started to figure out, you know, how motivating I was by me hitting the gym and me reading. It was just a continuous like finding of myself through other people. So it's kind of funny like how that all works. Like I'm kind of just figuring it out now.
Yeah. So I want to dig a little bit deeper into that because I know there's this like fine line of like knowing who you are outside of validation from other people, and then like having that validation from other people kind of confirm what you already know about yourself. That's what it's like. That side of things is kind of what it sounds like you're leaning more toward, and this like what you're talking about now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So like, how would you say to do that in a healthy way? Because
wow, that's
like
a
if
good question, bro.
like, there's probably somebody watching who really cares about what other people think about them and are looking to other people to validate what they do. That's how I am. And I'm learning to come out of that as I get older and become my own person. And I realize that nobody else is living my life, so I have to live my own life. And I shouldn't care as much as I do about what other people think about how I'm living my life. Now, the people close to me, of course, like people that care about me and love me, obviously I want to know what they think. And I'll use that as kind of like ammo to figure out how to shoot. But I'm not going to let them hold the gun for me and shoot. You feel me? So what would you say to people who are kind of in that boat of like letting other people lead their lives too much? Like how would you say to walk that line of being yourself but also listening to other people and letting that inform who you are and what you want to do?
Yeah, so I feel like one thing that I have kind of, as I've gotten older, I'll say, I wasn't always where I am now, and I'm still on my journey. Like I'm continuously improving, you know, that's why I preach self-improvement. So like I'm getting better with it, but one thing that I've gotten better with is I've been able to listen to external validation, but I haven't seeked it. So I feel like that's the biggest thing that I would tell somebody. It's like, yo, like if you're, you know, let's say like, you know, you just started making music and you're like, yo, bro, like I'm trying to promote my music. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. You might, you know, let's be honest, like music artists or whatever, entrepreneur, whatever, like you get more in return when you promote yourself and when you necessarily like just market whatever you have. But at the same time, I wouldn't get emotionally attached to the validation of others. And that's something that I got to battle with because I might see the numbers are down. I might see the comments are down. I might see the likes are down because I'm a content creator. So it's kind of hard because for me, like you want that external validation because you know what value it can bring you. But at the same time, I feel like when you mentally and emotionally detach yourself from that, then you'll always win because no matter what, you'll keep going. So if you want to be consistent with anything, I would tell somebody like, you know, I wouldn't say completely detach yourself from it in terms of like you seeing it, but don't seek it. You know, just remove the K.
I love that. As soon as you said that, I was like light bulb. Like, don't seek it, but listen to it. That's fine. I like that. Yeah, that's really fine. Because then it's like you're not looking at it for validation. You're just looking at it for how it can help what you already know you're doing.
Facts.
Right?
Yeah, it's like a business. Like all businesses look at their numbers, their analytics, but they don't emotionally and mentally attach themselves to it. So they might see, okay, man, I had less profit, I had less revenue. All they're doing is collecting data. They're just collecting data on how they can improve from that. But they're not, you know, attaching themselves emotionally to that at the same time. So they're not seeking, they may not seek those numbers from a like instant gratification standpoint of like, oh, like I'm gratified and I'm joyous that I see this, but they're like, all right, like how can I make my business, how can I make my life better from what I see? You know, it's just looking at it rationally and not emotionally.
That makes a lot of sense. I love that analogy with a business because like with businesses come up with their mission statement and like their goal and all that type of stuff outside of the numbers, right? The numbers just inform whether their mission is working or not, right?
Facts.
That's a really good analogy. I never thought about it.
It's just an indicator.
An indicator.
It's just an indicator.
It's like this is kind of a loose analogy, but the way I think about money, and I forgot where I read this, it was recent, but money is a measuring stick. It's not the goal.
That's facts.
If money is your goal, then good luck to you.
Yeah, I've heard.
I mean, you're never gonna be satisfied, but using money as a measuring stick to help measure like your mission in life and how successful you are or what you decided you want to do for other reasons, That's kind of a way to think about it. So that might be another like comparable analogy.
Yeah, and what I will say is like I like that analogy. One thing that's funny is why a lot of entrepreneurs attach themselves to the money so much is because their measuring stick is like the goal in a sense. So it's like, how do I say it? Like, it's like you're in business to make money. If you're not in business, if you have a business to make money, you don't have a business, you have a hobby. So I'll keep that. That's subjective, right?
Hold on, say that slower.
That's
and
subjective.
2 more times.
That's
say that
subjective.
slower. One more time.
Right.
One more time.
Like, disclaimer, money isn't everything, but if you have a business and you're not in it for money, you have a hobby, respectfully. All right. With that being said, when you're in business, I feel like it's important to, detach yourself from the money, but like you have to use it as a measuring stick because like, that's that you started a business. It's like a business can't run if no money's coming in.
Exactly.
That's just what it is. So I've like thought about it to myself. I've been like, dang, like I can feel for entrepreneurs and how like so many of them get attached to the money because it's like that's literally the growth of the business itself. Like you cannot grow without it.
Right.
I
think it's not necessarily, so it's like maybe 1 or 2 things and maybe some stuff in between. It's like what the money represents for that person or the money itself. So some people just like the money, which is fine. We love money. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I like having money.
Of course.
Hey, I'd be lying if I said I didn't like having money.
For sure.
And I'm stressed when I don't have it. There's something about this currency in America that is attached to like our happiness and stuff. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but that stuff, right? But there's another side of like what I think you're talking about is what the money represents. And that represents your business thriving. And if you're not making money, then your business is dying.
It's not thriving, bro.
And you might want a business for a different reason other than money, but the money itself represents, it's kind of like your health bar for your business, right?
That's
for
facts,
my video
bro.
game people out there. Like, if money's coming in, that means, you're doing well. If it's not, then you dying, you're losing them hearts.
You're losing them hearts, real rap.
So,
it's crazy. Yeah, so like, I kind of feel for it. It's like, dang, like that's literally your growth metric, but it's also like a lot of times your survival, necessity. So it's funny how money is. It's like when you get into business, you kind of have the two. It's like it's battling each other. And like you're trying to use it as a growth metric, but you're like, dang, I might not be able to eat today.
I got to pay my bills.
It's real.
It's a dance. At least in the beginning, like where we're at.
Facts.
Like
facts, bro.
Like you left Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
I left Google. So like this is all we have.
Real
so it's like we have to make it work. And sometimes it's like, shoot, like the reserves is dwindling. The reserves is dwindling.
Oh my God, dog.
Even if you even have reserves, like,
bro, what bookkeeping is like disappointing sometimes, bro. Bookkeeping is disappointing. You be running your numbers, you like, oh, I spent this, I spent that.
Hold on, let me run it 3 more times just to make sure.
No, for real, bookkeep. Oh my God,
I've been avoiding it, but I need to get on it. I need to look at my Q1 numbers and stuff,
bro.
And I have QuickBooks and stuff, and like look at it every now and then to make sure I'm not like overspending or overspending. Period, but. Yeah, that's an important part of business too. Talk about that a little bit too, because we talked a lot about like the motivation and like personal side of entrepreneurship on this podcast so far, but we haven't really talked about the nitty gritty of like what it means to actually have a business and what the day-to-day looks like.
Yeah.
So like, talk to me about bookkeeping. Like, do you have QuickBooks? Do you like do it on your own in Excel document? Like, how does that work?
Oh yeah, so my bookkeeping process is like honestly pretty simple at the moment. It's not QuickBooks. Like I honestly just kind of mix in like my notes in Excel. It's just very, very time efficient because what I would tell people is don't bite off more than you can chew. So if you got QuickBooks and you paying this amount a month, I think they have a free version, but let's just say in theory that you're paying a monthly fee, you're paying a yearly fee, you're paying whatever for a high quality software. Well, this might provide more value, but that value isn't relevant to you. Yep. So you might only need to do a little Excel file. It's like, bro, 2 people about your product.
Right.
Like, what books is there to keep?
Right.
There's no books to keep.
Exactly.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's like, I would tell people like, always measure what you need based on where you're at.
Yes.
I know where I'm at. Like, hey, Shopify is cool. Like, I don't gotta pay a third party a bunch of money a month. Like, Shopify's $1 a month. You can create a business right now for Shopify.
It's only $1 a month?
It's $1 a month, bro. It used to be $29. I tried to drop ship like a year ago, bro. And it was crazy.
Talk to us about the drop shipping.
About my drop shipping failure. Ooh,
This is, ooh. So it's actually some personal reasons behind it. I thought I had some money that was promised to me because I had just turned 18, so I was trying to go crazy. I was like, bro, I'm gonna do this. Like I invested like a bunch of money into like crypto. I was like, I'm gonna drop ship. Then I was like, all right, never mind, I'm gonna do real estate. So like with drop shipping specifically, like it was something where, you know, at first I started off with like trying to watch, you know, basically course length videos on YouTube. That's something you can start off with if you don't got them. Even if you don't have the bread to like put into high level education, you could just go on YouTube and search up hour-long videos, filter for videos over 20 minutes so that you can get a lot of value. That's something you could do. YouTube has filters. You could just filter for longer ones.
That's a good tip.
I know.
I'm gonna use that.
Yeah, just type in whatever you want to watch. Tutorial at the end. Filter for over 20 minutes. You'll get a bunch of game for free. It's a hack.
That's
what I did.
Because there's a lot of those short videos that's like 6 to 10 minutes long that like don't really go into enough
Bro, I'm telling you.
And they, like those less than 10-minute videos kind of all say the same thing.
Bro, I'm telling you, like YouTube, the max limit is 10 hours, bro. So like you can easily find a course length of a video on YouTube.
That's
so
fine.
Do that. That's what I did. So I was watching this, I forgot his name, but I was watching basically a dropshipping tutorial, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna go on Shopify. You know, I'm gonna get my products from like Alibaba, or it was I switched to CJ Dropshipping, and I was like, all right, like I'm gonna just find out good products. So like I was also using YouTube as like a way to find good products to sell that would have a lot of, you know, like volume that people would buy, and then also good profit margins. So I was like studying just YouTubers who was dropshipping at the time. Like,
and hold on, sorry, before you continue, what is dropshipping for people that don't know? Just like in a couple sentences.
Oh yeah. So if I want to explain dropshipping to a 5th grader, it's essentially you being able to sell a product without you holding that product. So I'm gonna give y'all some game. I personally dropship from my clothing brand. People don't know that. I do print on demand, which essentially is when I get an order, I'm able to basically pay for that order right after somebody pays. So I don't lose anything up front. The only time I lose up front is if I do a pop-up shop. But online, it's print on demand. So what that does for me is if somebody like I said, if somebody places an order, I can pay for it right then and there. And what it also does is it allows me to never have to worry about selling out.
Right. So it's like traditionally for selling clothes, and well, let's get into your brand too in a second.
Course.
But for your t-shirt brand, and is it just t-shirts? Are you selling more stuff? It's just t-shirts now, right?
It's just t-shirts for now.
Okay, so for your clothing brand, traditionally you would have to get a bunch of t-shirts and hope you sell all of them out, right?
Facts.
To either break even or make a profit, right?
Yeah.
But what you're talking about is a little different, right?
Yeah.
You sell your shirts as they come in.
Yeah.
So someone places the order online and then you make the shirt and send it to them.
Yeah.
So you don't lose any money up front, is what you said, right?
Nah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I would say it's a good model for people that, number one, don't know if their product is on sale. Because you might buy a whole bunch of product, but then nothing sells. So now you have all this inventory that can't sell, and you're left with just lost money.
Right.
Or number two, you may not even have the bread to be able to buy in bulk. So it's like, for me, I was like, all right, well, number one, I don't know if it's on sale. Number two, I'm not starting off with a bunch of money that I would like to. So I'm gonna use the print on demand method and just like basically improve, like, so a lot of people, I feel like when they buy in bulk, the product can kind of market itself because people get that trust factor of seeing, okay, now he has all these orders. I know if I buy, I can buy from him.
Right.
For me, I had to go double, triple, quintuple as hard on my marketing. Because I knew that, all right, cool, like I can't just have a bunch of product on the ground and then me swimming in my clothing. You see people do that?
Yeah.
Like they be making the snow angels on their clothing, and then they be
and the
twisting
orders,
and
the
turning.
pack orders.
Yeah, bro. So I can't do that. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, how can I really tell a story with this clothing brand? I started to tell my story. You know what I'm saying? So in order to tell a story, I tell my story. One thing I've heard before from one of my mentors is facts tell, stories sell. So I was like, all right, if I tell my story, like, then eventually the clothes is gonna sell just off of people, you know, having that emotional connection, because people buy with emotion and justify with logic. So I know.
Bro, you are. This man is giving so much. I'm learning so much right now. That's why I'm silent this whole time.
Yeah, so I was like, how can I really tap into this emotional side? I was like, all right, cool. Like, I need to, you know, I need to tell my story, like just a quick elevator pitch for people that don't know who I am. My name is Carson. I've been in a car accident at the age of 2. I have 6 physical scars. I'm right here, and on my leg. So what I did was, it didn't just leave me physically scarred, but also emotionally scarred, being bullied, made fun of, and just not being confident in who I was and being self-conscious at the time. So what I decided to do was turn a negative into a positive, and I decided to create a brand called Scars Make Stars, where they make you stronger, not struggle. That, an elevator pitch. Yeah.
Just quick snap for that, bro. Yeah. You got that on lock.
Yeah.
You got that on lock. Bro, sitting here, like, hearing it in person, because I see it on social media.
Yeah.
Anybody could, like, do something on social media. But seeing, like, sitting and talking to you about it, I can tell how much thought you put into this. It's not you just, like, spitting randomness. Like, you thought deeply about what you're doing. It's connected to who you are as a person, and you believe in it wholeheartedly. And that's, I think, is why you're consistent with it. It's because you believe in it, and you believe in it regardless of if anybody else believes in it. And you believing in it first means that everybody else will eventually.
Facts.
That's fire, bro.
Yeah.
Not to cut you off, but I just want to, like, make that, like, connection, bring it back, like, full circle for people listening, because, like, I wouldn't say that that is the key to being consistent, but I think that's a key.
Definitely, cause it's like, if you don't believe in your product, who is? For me, I think of it, all right, cool. Like, if I want to call myself an influencer, I gotta have influence. What do influencers have? What do influencers have? They not only have influence, but the reason that they have that influence is people see how confident they are in their product, and that confidence essentially vibrates, and essentially everybody just feels it, you know? So it's like, they see how confident you are, they see how you talking and walking, they like, oh, I can buy this, like, I just like him. So they buy you before they buy the product. One thing I've heard being in sales is, like, people buy the person before they buy the product. So if it's an amazing person behind the product, they look at a design as simple as mine, Scars Make Stars, with very little designs, artistic, you know, artwork or anything, and then, like, I like his story, I like his message, I like his slogan and his motto. So they gonna buy. Whereas if I had an amazing product, the coldest artwork, I paid a designer, like, I could have paid a designer from $5 or $150, and it's gonna translate to like $500 because he live in India. He can make the coldest design in the world, and guess what? I can't promote for anything, and it's not gonna sell. Right. It's crazy, but it's true. You feel me? So, like, you gotta really, like, you gotta literally be the person that people will want to buy from. So instead of trying to make the product that people want to buy, like, I'm not saying products aren't important, I'm not. But, you know, when you look at Facebook, you look at Amazon, like, you got to think, Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg, these people who have gotten to that high level, they became the person that could have that good of a product. So it's like, a lot of times what I've noticed, and it happened to me too, like, you might have something that's amazing that's in your hands, but God will take it away because you're not ready for it. You're not the person that's worthy of having that blessing. I've gotten stuff taken away from me. Like, I got laid off from a job in March. That's why I started the clothing brand. People don't know that. But I got laid off in March. I was like, all right, cool. I got to make some work, or I gotta go to work. Like, I got to make some shake, like a salt shaker. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, how do I get, like, like, how do I make the most out of my time? Well, I was like, all right, posting more transparent, authentic content about who I am, my story, and things of that nature. I literally lost my job, and I've had the clothing brand idea for months. I gotta execute. So that's what I did. And what it did was, it's like, all right, cool. Like, you know, basically, like, my backup was against the wall, and I was like, all right, I gotta make this work. But I just, you know, to go full circle, the reason why I started the clothing brand is because I had a blessing that was taken away from me because I wasn't ready for it. I had a great sales job, you know? Somebody, my coworker, he made 5 times as much as me in a month than I did. So that's how powerful sales is. It's performance based. I wasn't performing. I wasn't as good as I thought I was. I got humbled, you know? Like, not just at the job, but losing the job. But that, I didn't lose who I was, and I just, you know, made some shake, like I said.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of things I want to touch on. I want to be Drake. What would you say to me based on what you just said? I have to become the type of person to have the things that I want, right? Would that be a good way to summarize what you just said? So, like, if I want to have, like, a rap career like Drake, I have to become the person that Drake is?
Yeah, so
what would you say to, like, a 12-year-old who's watching this, 15, 16-year-old who aspires to be like Drake?
So
would I have to become Drake? And how do I not lose myself?
By trying to become.
Yeah, like what does that tension look like?
So what I essentially meant was like, if you, I wouldn't say like you want to be Drake, like, oh, I want to be light skinned with a heart on my head. Like I'm not like, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't mean it like that. What I meant is, if you look at, you know, the blessings that Drake has, you know, he's able to like live a free life, like, you know, do this, do that, like go on stage, you know, basically do what he loves, which is rap his own music, sing his own music, perform his music in front of thousands, millions, billions of people, you know, if you look at just streams. So if you want the blessings that Drake has, you have to become the person that would have that. You have to become that person that's worthy of those blessings.
So not like, literally, but as far as like what we were talking about earlier, the intangible stuff, the internal stuff.
Internal, and you have to develop the traits that somebody of that caliber would have. So it's like, when you look at traits, it's like, bro, like you're not gonna see Drake posted up 1 foot on the brick house by the gas station with a blunt rolled up in his mouth. You're not gonna see Drake doing that, and he on the corner all day. Hey, bro, what's the move? What's the move, bro? You're not gonna see Drake doing that, because that trait itself is not even the action. Like the action, you can say low vibrational, and I probably wouldn't disagree. But at the same time, what that trait represents is laziness. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, you are so wise. You're so wise. That's fine. Basically, what you just said is to look past the action and see what the like underlying intention.
Yeah,
like,
what is the trait? What is the characteristic behind that? What is the characteristic behind that action? Because it's like, you might tell somebody, hey, bro, hit the gym. They might last for a day. Why? Because they don't have the trait of discipline.
Because you ask why.
Yes.
Hold on, I'm trying to get like all the subtext, like the in-between for people that are listening. Ask why, right? Like, don't just look at the stuff or the actions. Ask why the person's doing that. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, or ask how the person is able to do that. How, like, you have to judge not just their actions, but their abilities behind their actions.
So intentions and ability.
Yes, intentions. We talked about intentions, having good intentions with, you know, businesses, anything that you do. So I agree with that. And then also the ability. It's like, yo, he's able to go to the gym 5 times a week, because not only does he have the trait of discipline, but he has the ability to do that because he takes care of his body. He eats right. He sleeps right. He not going to the club, getting drunk out his mind 5 days a week. So his brain ain't messed up. You feel me? Like, it's just stuff like that, to where you got to understand, like, all right, the same action that you preach to somebody, they might not even be able to do it because they don't have the traits to do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
let's think of an example. Something that I know you just talked about working out, but let's dig a little deeper into this example. So for someone who wants to work out consistently, because I've dealt with this like last month. I was consistent when I was at Tech.
You honest?
And I was thinking about like why I was consistent when I was at Tech, but when I tried like a month ago, I would go for like 1 or 2 days and then wouldn't want to go at all. And I realized that back then, I was in the habit of being self-disciplined at school, because I had to be. I was doing this stuff, the photography, videography stuff. I was a student at Georgia Tech. Like, that's already like 2 full-time jobs in and of itself. In a relationship, that takes work, right? Still in a relationship, tip my hat to that. And other stuff, right? I had hobbies. How was I able to do all of those things, but now when I try to just go work out consistently, I'm like, oh, this is the worst thing in the world, right? It's because back then, I had the self-discipline muscle. It was built, bro. It was strong. Like, it was big, right? But when I graduated, I took some time off of everything. I just chilled because I needed that for myself, my mental health.
That's good.
But during that time, my self-discipline muscle just got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And when I tried to come back to working out in the same way I was when my muscle was huge, it doesn't work. So I had to come back to it and become the person that could work out consistently every week. Over time. That took a lot of time. Even now, I'm not back to where I was at school, but now I'm going like 3 times a week. I injured my ankle, so I didn't go last week, but we're gonna be back on it this week. But like, setting that expectation of like not trying to be up here right away, but like just taking the whole journey of like becoming the person that does those things. And less focused on the action, more focused on the internal traits of like, what would a person who does these things, what are they? What are they in essence, right?
Exactly. It's like, for example, like you might think, all right, cool, I want to make $1 million. That's the income goal that everybody just loves having in their mind. Instead of asking how to
bulb.
make $1 million, ask what a millionaire would do to make $1 million.
Did you read Atomic Habits?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the third time mentioning this book, but it's coming out in this conversation.
Yeah,
that's
I was gonna mention the book. Yeah, James
That's what
Clear.
it talks about.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, that's where I read it. I couldn't remember.
What would a millionaire do? Or like, if you like, damn, like, how can I
in this moment though? In this moment, not like, what would a millionaire do to be a millionaire?
30 years
because
ago.
we can't answer that.
That's what I'm saying.
But what right now, tonight, what would a millionaire do tonight? A millionaire would probably go home and read a chapter of a book.
Yeah.
And just start there.
Yeah. A millionaire would take action. I just made it, bro. I just made a video. I ain't posted it yet. But I posted this video on like actions over affirmations. A lot of people...
Bro, your sound bites are crazy. You got so many clips from this.
Oh yeah, bro. I got
that's
quotes
crazy.
just off the dome. Yeah. But bro, actions over affirmations. It's like you affirming all of these things. Like you speaking all these things at the mirror, and you got note cards and sticky notes of, quotes about yourself. I am healthy. I am wealthy. It's like, yo, like you aren't the person that literally has whatever you saying. Like, cause it's like the stuff you speaking into the universe, quote unquote, you aren't even acting in that thing. Like
you just hoping some magic dust will, make you that person.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like you said earlier, the external stuff changes the internal.
Exactly.
Like your parents telling you to brush your teeth.
Yeah.
You need to be your parent and say, I don't want to go work out, but I'm going to go work out because I know the external will change the internal.
Yeah.
Over time, I will become a self-disciplined person by forcing myself to be more disciplined.
Bro, and it's not also just accountability. I'm not gonna get too scientific, but that's how I speak technically. So when it comes to your environment, it might not be accountability, it could be osmosis. Just off of your environment, you just blend in with whatever you around. So if you around people that stay on the corner all day, what you gonna be? Probably on the corner.
Exactly.
Smoking weed, asking for packs, asking who got the perks for the low. You know what I'm saying? But if you get around people that's talking about, dang, how I'ma elevate my business, how I'ma increase my revenue, how I'ma, improve my VSL, like this, bro, this is literally what I hear all the time when I go to the gym, rich and fit. So,
I need to come through there, bro. Y'all, because on Instagram, I feel like these niggas are just like going crazy, like getting jacked.
Bro,
but that's the stuff you don't see on there. Like you see the surface level stuff, but there's people in there like talking business, like higher level stuff.
Literally.
It makes sense why you talk the way you talk and think the way you think, because you're around these people all the time.
Bro, all them quotes.
Rich and fit, that's what it's called, right?
Rich and fit.
That makes a lot of sense.
There we go. Rich and fit.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, bro. So it's like, literally, like, it might be you just blend in with what you around. And that's what it is. Like if you around a family of 5 and they all like doctors, then it's a pretty good chance that you'll be a doctor. I'm not saying like, it's guaranteed, but it's a good chance.
Right.
So it's like you are who you around. Like one thing I've heard is like you're usually the product of the 5 people who you're around the most. So when it comes to like the 5 people that you just spend the most time with, it might not be physical, it could also be digital. You on FaceTime an hour a day with these same 5 people, you'll probably be just like them, talking just like them, thinking just like them, acting just like them. So it's really about not just, trying to push so hard and being like, all right, I gotta hold myself accountable. But it's like, be around people that are doing that same thing, and then naturally, you'll kind of just blend in regardless. Like, it's just what it is, like, cause it's not just physical. Like you trying to improve, like you get jacked at the gym. Like that's why I've been able to get stronger, cause I'm around people that's stronger than me.
Y'all, this man in a span of a year has like, I don't even know how to describe it. He's gone from like Squidward to like Larry the Lobster,
crazy.
bro. Like
Squidward is wild.
Crazy, like Squidward. Like you didn't look like Squidward. I'm just saying, I know, the difference between the two.
Bro.
Like this man took his shirt off on social media. I was like, who is this, bro? Like, but it's inspiring because it's like, it's a physical, like we're talking about a measuring stick for like what's happening inside of you, the discipline. Like we see the discipline on social media, you posting consistently, and it makes sense why you're more fit, because that discipline extends to all areas of life.
Thanks.
So I think it's just cool to see like your physical change is like a mark of your internal change. Bro. Like you growing as a person. So yeah, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I feel like, one thing that everybody says is like, that at least I'm around is like health is wealth. Like, you might have all the money in the world, but like if you can't enjoy that money with your health, then it don't matter. Cause one thing I've also heard, like just another soundbite, a quote, whatever you will, is like, you might have all the money in the world, but you're unhealthy. What's the thing that you'll be wanting the most? Your health. If you have all the health in the world, but you have no money, well, you're not gonna necessarily want that money probably. You're just gonna want the thing that money could get you, whether it be food, whether it be shelter, whether it be anything like that. So health is always gonna come first. Like, you know, with people that are struggling with their health, or with people that are struggling with wealth, they may pray for many things. For people struggling with health, they pray for one thing. You know what I'm saying? People struggling with their health, they pray for one thing, and that's good health.
Yeah.
So it comes first. You know what I'm saying?
That's
so,
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
They pray for one thing. Yeah, bro.
Man, so we talked about clothing brand. We talked about a little bit of your past and like how that led into. Still where I'm a little foggy, what I wanted to like learn about is the bridge between your like childhood of being that self-disciplined person and knowing what you wanted and just learning everything you needed to learn to get there. And this, Scars Make Stars, and the entrepreneurship journey and helping other people reach their personal goals, business goals, etc. Like, I know that you said when you got fired from your job, you started this brand. But like, when was the switch? Because when I was talking to you a year ago at school, we were talking a little bit about like entrepreneurship and stuff and like business, but it was very loose. And then like some months had passed and then this came out of nowhere. And I was like, what happened? Like I always knew it was going to happen, but it was a surprise that it happened so quick. So like, what was that in between period like? And like, why did you leave Georgia Tech? Like, just fill in some of those details.
Oh, what you want me to start with? Because those questions are loaded.
Let's just start with leaving Georgia Tech. Well, whatever came first.
What came first? Okay, so the one thing you did say that came first is like the gap. It's like you see me before, you see the after. How did the before transition to the after?
Exactly. Okay, I think that's what everyone who knows you here is like curious about.
I feel you. So I would say the gap was kind of like I said before, it's just me publicizing what was at once private. So,
right, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm just publicizing what was at once private. What was at once private was me going to the gym, me reading every single day, me taking cold showers every day, me waking up early every day. Like I was doing all of this every day. Nobody knew that. Kojo knew because he's on my floor. So he would see me up early in the bathroom brushing my teeth at 6 in the morning to go to the gym. But you wouldn't know that unless you live with me. Yeah. So it's like just off of the fact that like he was in my environment, that's how he knew, but nobody else did. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then he would probably forget because I wasn't on social media talking about it. You feel me? So for me, like, that's what I was saying. Like, it was just like, I wouldn't say it was necessarily like a crazy before and after. It was just the— You just publicized it. Yeah, it was just the publicity of it, you know?
Yeah, okay, so then the transition from doing it personally to for other people. How did you do that? And when did that start to become an idea of like, I know that you said you were like, I might as well record the journey and help other people. Was that the beginning of the?
Bro, honestly, what it was me like realize I started to kind of like, how do I say it? I started to gain more knowledge of myself, and I started to understand that like, okay, here's an area that I'm lacking in. I need to improve this area. And what the area was that I needed to improve in was my confidence or my lack of confidence and my self-consciousness. Those are two things that I knew I needed to prove with, because at the beginning of 2022, I started a social media page. You know, y'all can look up the name. It's called Business Settled with 2 S's in the middle. So I started that Business Settled page because I was like, all right, I want to post about business, but I didn't show my face. So nobody even knew that I ran that page because I didn't promote it to nobody. Like, it was a faceless page. I had the idea of like, all right, cool, like I'm gonna grow this faceless page because I know how those faceless pages make money. That's something else I could give game on, but like, you know, I'm gonna just keep it focused. So, bro, trust me, I could give some game.
I gotta have you back on, bro.
Oh yeah.
We gotta have more like focused discussions.
Oh yeah. But so when I was running that Business Settle page, I was consistent on that page for 4 months, posting like 3 times, 4 times a week. So I was bro. I was
during school.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, bro, full time.
So back there confirming, he nodding. He's like, yeah.
Bro, real rap. Yeah, he didn't even follow, but it's cool. I ain't tripping. It just sounds good, I know. But so I was posting on there and like, so I was consistent. Like I said, it was private though, it wasn't public. I was consistent and I started to realize, all right, cool, like I have this one friend, her name's Alexis. She actually dropped out before I did. So she dropped out literally after her first semester.
Shout out all the Georgia Tech dropouts.
Crazy.
I hope everyone's doing well.
She go crazy in real estate and acquisitions. She do a whole bunch of stuff.
Shout out Alexis.
Yeah, she do a whole bunch of stuff. But basically Alexis, she was like, you know, one of my first quote unquote mentors. And you know, I saw her journey of her just like not being as confident, and then her starting to publicize how she dropped out, her making posts about it. Then she made a post about real estate, and I was like, wow. You know, she was like, how I made like 18K in my first 3 months of real estate. I was like, okay. She's confident enough to publicize her journey. Forget the money. She put her face in the camera. She talked for 59 seconds and gave game. Literally, I know I can do the same thing. I just don't have the same confidence that she does. Okay, how can I build that confidence? It's not gonna be affirmations, it's gonna be action. Let me build up that confidence through changing my behavior. And you know, when I change my actions is gonna change me. Yep. And you know, I am who I am now as a result of my actions. So I would tell anybody, like, when it comes to anything that you struggle with, like whatever you struggle with, action is the fastest way to remove that struggle, because everything in life, you gotta see it as a muscle. It's like, you're not gonna get ripped in the gym by just lifting your arms up and down every day, or it's gonna take just the longest time in the world. What do? You pick the weights up, you start lifting, then you start lifting heavier, then you start lifting heavier. It's a continuous journey of self-improvement. It's like life isn't a destination. It's not a one-way stop. It's a continuous highway that never ends. So you gotta just continue to go on those highways and byways, no matter the bumps in the road, no matter the accidents, no matter if a police pull you over as you give you a ticket and you gotta pay and you gotta keep going, just keep going, because if you're not gonna keep going, who is? You feel me? You gotta keep going for yourself. So that's what I would tell people. Like that's what I always did. Like that's what I would say is honestly what got me from that before of nobody knowing to after everybody knowing. It was a like just a revelation of me finding out who I was, my positives or my pros and my cons, where I needed to improve and where I had, you know, greatly improved already, and me just, you know, just working on myself. Yeah. Like I feel like one thing that's funny is I've talked about reading, journaling, meditating, cold showers, all these self-improvement tactics. The biggest self-improvement tactic for me, bro, has been creating content. Because I've improved my confidence, I've improved my ability to communicate, I've improved my ability to make eye contact. Like I look right at the lens now. I don't just look down, because it's like you want to meet people out of eye contact. It don't just work physically in person, it work digitally online. Yep. So I've been able to improve myself like by literally just creating content, because I used to be self-conscious of like, you know, how I look. That's just real. Like, you know, 6 physical scars. I didn't have this confidence at first. I used to be self-conscious. I didn't show my face. Like I didn't really like take that many pictures on social media. Like I wasn't really on social media, and I gave myself the excuse of it's a distraction. But really, it wasn't solely a distraction. It was also me just lacking that internal, you know, internal comfortability with who I was innately. Yeah. Like, you know, I can't change the fact that I was in a car accident 16, 17 years ago, but I can change how I view that car accident. I can change how I react to that car accident. I can change my actions as a result of that car accident. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what got me to where I am, where I was before to where I am now. Just continuous self-improvement and just never stopping.
That's fire, bro.
That's really what got me there.
There's a couple of things I want to highlight that really stick out to me and everything you just said. One, you're really introspective. Like you see the areas that you need to improve. You just said pros and cons. You don't see the cons as permanent though. Facts, like you just see them as just area for improvement. Facts. Which is really cool to me, because I feel like that I've done this before, but you just look at things that you think aren't good about yourself and you just think they're just set in stone. And some of them might be, I don't know, you might be like shorter than you want to be. Not you specifically, I'm just saying in general. Somebody might be shorter than they want to be and be insecure about it, and then be like, like I can't do anything about it. That's different. I'm talking about the stuff that's like confidence. Like you can build confidence. And it's cool that you've looked at those things not as permanent and like use them as excuses to not be who you want to be. You said this like 3, 4, 5 times in this whole podcast. What can I do to get better at this thing? Like how can I improve my confidence? And I think that is key out of the things you said. Another thing that I've noticed just from us sitting here for this hour is you actually doing the things that you're telling people to do.
Oh yeah, right? Bro.
Like, there's a lot of these Instagram gurus who will spit like, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta read this, read that, and they're not actually doing it. Or they'll do it for a little bit while they're doing it and then never do it again. Like you keep coming back to, like you said, actions over affirmation. You said that, and then you gave an example of how you did that in your life. That's powerful. People will believe your story because you're living it. You can say and spit stuff all you want, But until you're walking it and people see that, they're not gonna really believe you. And they might, and people who believe you, I mean, that's great for them, because if you're speaking truth and people believe that and follow it, that's great. But a lot of people need to see it first to be motivated. So I think that's huge, bro. And I know you're doing that for you. You're not doing it for this, you're doing it for you.
Yeah.
So you're able to be consistent with that truth. And I think that's why you're successful and why you're going to help so many people through what you do. It's because it's authentic at the end of the day. I think that's the best word to sum it up. Like, you're an authentic person doing your thing for you and just recording it. And then whoever is impacted by it and encouraged through it. So I'm definitely, this probably is one of my favorite, if not my favorite podcast, because I've looked up to you for so long in terms of your content journey. Like, just like how consistent you are with how you post and like the type of content you're posting and all that. What do I always tell you? Consistency, bro. Like, that's what I look up to you for, is that you're just constantly posting. That's something that I aspire toward. And now sitting here talking to you and learning more about you, because we've talked to each other and talked about stuff, but we've never gotten to sit and get to know each other more. So it's cool just hearing more about your story past the posts and past the few conversations we've had on campus. And that's super inspiring to me, bro. So I'm happy to have you, and we definitely got to have you on for more.
Wish you on campus again.
You said what?
Wish you on campus again.
I be on campus skating. That's how I sprained my ankle. I be around. I be
on campus too a lot.
We'll probably see each other at some point.
I be on campus. I record like interviews sometimes, so I do that, and that's really it for right now. That's really it now.
But we in the same city, so we got no excuse. Maybe I'll stop by Rich and Fit, see what's going on over there. But bro, I got one last question. So scars make stars. Obviously, like, that's what you wear all day, every day. You probably wear it to sleep, you know. I love it, because now, like, learning more about you, this makes sense. Like, now I have an emotional connection to this, right? Before it was cool. I was like, okay, scars make stars. Like, okay, cool. Like, that's a great, you know, slogan. But now hearing it, like, I'm connected to it. So what would you say to, like, people who have these scars that people don't even know about, that they're so insecure that they can't even talk about them or think about them? Like, how do you even approach that conversation with people? Like, say someone who, like really wants to be a musician. We'll just say that. They really want to be an artist. They want to make music and put their stuff out into the world, but their voice sounds way different than everyone that's mainstream and people are giving attention to. Just as an example, this could be anything, but just to like put some kind of like tangible thing to it. What would you say to that type of person?
So what I would say to that type of person is, like, I would always tell somebody, if you have something that makes you different, embrace that. Like, embrace what makes you different. So that's why I feel like people have been able to not necessarily relate, but respect what I do. So they may not be able to relate to you. Like, you may not be the mainstream mumble rapper that everybody just likes and relates to, because, you know, they hear Playboi Carti and Trippie Redd and everybody sounding like the same person, but they respect the fact that you're different and that you stand on that difference. So me, I stand on, like, what exactly makes me different. Scars make stars. Like, my scars make me different. So, like, I branded that. Like, yo, like, you know, yo, it's Carson, aka Scars. Y'all shop the brand Scars. Like, I'm literally embracing exactly what makes me unique. So I feel like people can respect that, because that is a respectable trait. Everything, like, it's crazy, because, like, actions are literally just nothing but reflections and byproducts of traits. It's literally just a byproduct of traits.
What is Atomic Habits? He say it like, it starts internally, like your beliefs.
It does.
Lead to your thoughts, and thoughts to actions, or something like that. Like, just something like that.
Thoughts lead to words, words lead to actions, actions lead to, you know what I'm saying, habits, and habits leads to,
there you go. And he studied that book.
So that's what I would say. It's like, you really gotta just embrace what makes you different. Like, okay, cool. Like, you know, you might have a crazy voice. All right, just embrace that.
But how? Like,
I would say
someone, like, they hate their voice. Like, telling someone to embrace the thing that they hate, that's a very difficult thing to do.
Ask why. Like, okay, take your own advice. You ask, like, what you said was like, all right, cool. You know, I deal with this. This is something I struggle with. Why? Okay. A lot of times, I'm not gonna speak for everybody, but a lot of times, like, personally for me, like, the reason why I didn't necessarily like the way I looked on the outside is because I dealt with, you know, self-conscious issues on the inside, which all self-consciousness is I have an inflated belief of what other people think of me. That's all it is. Inflated belief is like, why am I?
The spotlight effect.
Bro,
right?
it's like, yeah, it's like I have this belief that what these people are saying is true, what these people are saying will always be true, what these people are saying, it like literally has all the power in the world for me.
That these people are looking at me, period, or care about me, for
bro,
real.
that's what I'm saying. like most people just.
That's something I've been realizing. Nobody's really paying attention to you like that. They'll look at you on the street and then keep it moving. Maybe have a thought and then never think about you again.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like when you detach or when you literally just slice that power that people have over you in half, then you'll be able to say, all right, like the hate didn't necessarily come from, me just hating. It's like you gotta ask why that hate even existed. And that hate exists a lot of times because people have, like I said, an inflated belief of what other people think of them. So once you deflate that belief, everything gets smoother from there. You know what I'm saying?
People have an inflated belief of what other people think of them. And once you deflate that belief, that's how you overcome the insecurity.
Yes, like once you deflate that belief, like that'll allow you to embrace your differences. Like it's gonna be, bro, I'm not gonna lie, like it will be hard for me to like be Scars and like literally like have a clothing brand called Scars Make Stars if I hated my scar. Bro, how hard would that be?
Yeah,
that would
impossible.
I wouldn't even be able to do what I'm doing. Like it would be literally like, you know what I'm saying? Like it wouldn't be feasible. So it's like, for me, like, me being able to, be in a situation where it's like, all right, cool, like I'm comfortable with that. That's what allows me to be who I am now. And I would attribute my quote unquote success at being who I am and being comfortable in who I am to changing my environment, Another soundbite for people is when you change your environment will change you. So if you change the people that are around you, then those people around you will change you because now you might be around people that are very positive. Like for me, when I went to Rich and Fit and I showed my shirt off for the first time, like not only did nobody care as much as I thought they would, not only was the negative decreased, but the positive was increased, the positive reaction, because they were like, yo, bro, like, I respect you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you showing, they didn't even say, I already knew what it was though. Like when, people were dapping me up, so I was like, dang, like, it's real inspirational because like I'm getting this positive feedback, on the outside when I initially thought that I would have that negative feedback, and I was just thinking that on the inside. So I was like, all right, cool, like, me changing my environment literally changed me because like it changed how I thought about myself, it changed how I felt about myself, it changed like what I did on social media, like posting different content and being able to start a clothing brand, like literally like the day after I got laid off, like it allowed me to do all of those things because I changed my environment and, it changed me. So that's what I would say to somebody, like, number one, detach that or deflate that belief that you have of, other people and what they have on you. Like just remove that power that people have. And number two, get around people that literally will completely just like switch around your mindset. Like, so a lot of people might have mental trauma that's just staying there. Like they have trauma from, other people looking at them crazy, other people staring at them, other people calling them names. Like that's what I had personally, so I know how it is. So it's like, what you gotta do is, you not only have to decrease that power that those people have over you in your head, because all it is just real estate that people own in your head. You feel me? So you not only gotta slice them buildings down, you also gotta build up new buildings by building a new environment around you. You know what I'm saying? So when you build up that new environment, like, of people that really like, they really care, like the people I go to the gym with are like mad genuine. Like I'm literally one of the like most like people in the gym because they know my story and they know how I tell my story and they know how comfortable I am with telling my story. So that's what I would say. Like number one, like change your environment, and number two, like change the environment up here because it all starts up in your mind. So that's what I would say. Yeah, bro.
Carson Butler, everybody.
Yes, sir. Hey, you you totally forgot about your second question. Remember, the first one was the before, the after. The second one was college.
Man, he remembered. Hey, we got to say that for the next one.
Yeah, I'll say that
for the next one.
I'll say that for the next one.
Yeah, bro. Thank you for being here.
Of course,
for real.
bro.
And thank you for being you.
I appreciate
Thank
that.
you for being you, because that's inspiring to me. Someone who spent so long trying to figure out who me is, and spent so long trying to be what other people wanted me to be. and now I'm learning what it means to be me and walking that confidently. So seeing you do that is really inspiring to me personally, and I know it's inspiring to a lot of people out there. So yeah, bro, we'll have you back. We'll have you back for sure.
I can't wait, bro.
For sure.
Sir,
So,
appreciate it, bro.
yeah, bro. That's it. We're gonna put his Instagram on the screen. Make sure y'all follow him. We got you.
Scars make stars, man.
Scars
All
make
platforms.
stars.
YouTube, TikTok, IG, everywhere, bro.
Yeah. Brandon Master right here.
Yes, sir.
All right, bro. I'm gonna go talk to them.
All right,
Get
bro.
out of here.
Yes,
Get out of here, bro. Appreciate you.
All right, bro. Yes, sir. That was tough.
All right, y'all. That was episode number 6 of the Rags to Richness podcast. Thank y'all so much for being here and spending some time with us and learning about Carson's story. This had to have been one of my favorite, if not my favorite podcast so far. Personally, just from how vulnerable he was and how many gems he dropped. Not even for sake of like making podcast clips for Instagram to post, but just like I genuinely learned a lot and had a lot of affirmations from listening to his story. If any of this impacted you in a positive way, don't subscribe to me, don't like the video, do that if you want to. Share this with somebody. And I'm not saying share this so that we can grow, share this so that you can help the life of somebody else. If you know someone specifically in mind that you think about right now that this could help, share it to them. Share them a timestamp so they don't have to watch the whole thing. But my goal with this genuinely is to change the lives of people through sharing stories like Carson's. So if you want to be a part of that journey, a part of that mission, go ahead and share. Subscribe and like and do all that stuff if you want to. We're going to grow regardless. I'm not worried about that. That's my heart's desire with this podcast. So thank y'all so much for watching. It's been a pleasure. We'll see y'all in episode number 7. We're getting up there. We almost at double digits. We gotta like celebrate or something, double digits. But I don't know, man. We go ahead and roll the song. Whatever. I'm gonna see y'all next time.
Woke up this morning, I'm feeling blessed. Stepped out the bed, man, I cannot stress. To the closet, got my Sunday best. It's not Sunday, I just like the dress. I think I'm hot, man, I must confess. So I don't care if you are not impressed. Self-driven swagger, all time to mess. Stop all that hating, you look a mess.